The kitchen window stood open. Tom froze on the spot. He always shut that window tight before leaving for the fields. Always. Someone had touched his house. Someone had been inside. His heart pounded hard against his chest. He set down the tools in his hands, slow and quiet. Then he did something strange. Instead of drawing his gun right away, like any cowboy would, Tom bent down and picked up a small stone from the dirt. He threw it gently against the side of his house. Tap! Men nearby stopped and stared. Old Pete, sitting on his porch across the road, squinted his eyes in confusion. "What in the world is that fool doing?" he muttered to himself. Another cowboy laughed under his breath. Baker's lost his mind, throwing rocks at his own house. Tom paid them no attention. He waited, watching the window closely. Inside, he heard a small gasp, a quick shuffle of feet. Tom moved closer now, boots silent on the dry ground. His hand rested near his pistol, but he did not pull it free. Something told him to wait. Something told him this was not a normal thief. He reached the back door and pushed it open, slow and careful. There she stood, an Apache woman, thin and tired, clutching 2 loaves of his bread tight against her chest. Her dark eyes went wide with fear. She did not run. She could not run. Her legs seemed frozen beneath her, like roots stuck deep in the earth. Neither one spoke, neither one moved. The wind outside rattled the loose boards of the old house. Dust drifted through the open window, catching the last orange light of evening. Somewhere far off, a horse whinnied nervously, sensing the tension in the air. Tom's eyes studied her closely, her torn dress, her hollow cheeks, her trembling hands. Then, in a low voice, he finally spoke. "Stop right there." The woman's breath caught in her throat. She waited, frozen, for whatever would come next. The woman did not move. She held the bread tight against her chest, like it was the last precious thing on earth. Her breath came fast and shallow. Sweat showed on her forehead, even though the evening air was cool. Tom took one slow step closer. "You're stealing from me," he said. "That's my bread." She said nothing. Maybe she did not understand his words. Maybe fear had taken her voice away completely. Her dark eyes flicked from his face down to his hand, still resting near his gun. "Please," she finally whispered, just one small word. But it carried so much weight, so much need, so much fear. Something strange stirred in Tom's chest. Anger, yes, but something else too, something he could not name. He looked at her closely now. Her dress was torn at the edges. Her arms were thin, too thin. Her cheeks were sunken like she had gone many days without a full meal. This was not a woman stealing for fun. This was a woman stealing to survive. "Why?" Tom asked, his voice softer now. "Why steal from me?" She lowered her eyes. Her hands trembled around the bread. "My family," she said slowly, testing each word carefully. "No food, many days no food." Tom's chest tightened. He remembered his own hunger on long cattle drives when supplies ran thin, but he always knew relief was coming. Her hunger sounded different, deeper, without end. "Where is your family?" he asked. She hesitated, unsure whether to trust this stranger with a gun on his belt. But something in his eyes had softened, like frost melting under morning sun. "Camp," she said, "near the river, not far." Tom looked down at the bread in her arms. 2 loaves, not nearly enough for hungry mouths. He thought about walking away. He thought about calling the sheriff. He thought about all the things an angry man might do. He did none of those things. Instead, he asked a question that surprised even himself. "How many children do you have?" The woman stood still, like she had turned to stone. "What?" she whispered. "Bring your children," Tom said again, firmer this time. "There's more food here than just bread. Come, all of you. Eat a real meal tonight." Tears filled her eyes. She had walked in expecting anger, maybe even a bullet. Instead, she found kindness in the last place she thought to look. "Why?" she asked, her voice breaking. "Why would you help me? I stole from you." Tom rubbed the back of his neck. Hungry children shouldn't stay hungry, he said. Not while I have food to share. What's your name? He asked. Little Dove, she answered. I'm Tom, he said. Tom Baker. Little Dove turned toward the door, still holding the bread close. I will bring them, she said, but it will take time. The camp is far for small legs. Take your time, Tom said. I'll wait. She left into the darkening evening. Tom watched until she disappeared over a small hill. He turned back to his kitchen. What did he have for 3 hungry children? He opened his cupboards, beans, dried meat, a bit of cheese, not a feast but enough. He heated the beans over the fire. He cut the meat small so little hands could eat it easy. He set the table, something he had not done in 2 long years. Outside, stars came out, one by one, like tiny fires in the black sky. Tom stepped onto his porch and stared at the hill. Would she come back? Could he trust her word? Doubt crept into his mind. Maybe this was a trick. Fear had built walls between cowboys and Apache people for years, walls made of old stories and old wounds. But Tom pushed the doubt away. He remembered her eyes. He remembered her thin, tired face. That was not the look of a trickster. That was the look of a mother trying to save her children. He waited. Minutes crawled by like hours. The night grew cold. Tom pulled his jacket tight and kept watching. Then he saw shapes moving in the moonlight. Little Dove was coming back. Beside her walked 3 small children holding tight to her dress and to each other's hands. The children walked slow, their small feet tired from the long road. The oldest, a boy near 8, held his little sister's hand tight. She looked no more than 5. The youngest, just 3, rode in his mother's arms. They stopped at the edge of Tom's yard. Fear showed plain on their young faces. They had heard old stories too, stories about danger from cowboys. Tom stepped down from his porch slow, careful not to move too fast. He crouched low, making himself smaller, less scary to small eyes. Hello, he said gently. Are you hungry? The oldest boy looked up at his mother, unsure. Little Dove nodded to him, and the fear in his eyes softened just a bit. Come, Tom said, waving them toward the house. I made food, not fancy but warm. One by one, they stepped inside. The children looked around the small house with wide, curious eyes. It had been so long since Tom had visitors, especially small ones. He filled their plates with beans and meat. The children ate slow at first, careful, watching Tom's every move. But soon, hunger won. They ate faster, filling their empty bellies with real food for the first time in many days. Little Dove watched her children eat, tears rolling down her tired face. Relief washed over her like rain after a long, dry spell. Tom sat across the table, quiet, watching. Something warm grew in his chest, something he had not felt in 2 long years. His silent house now held the sound of small voices and soft laughter. You have a nice home, the little girl said suddenly. Tom smiled, truly smiled. Thank you, he said. It's been too quiet here, too empty. Before they left, he packed more food for them to carry home. Come back, Tom said. If you need food, just knock. Don't steal in the dark. I'll help if I can. Little Dove nodded, understanding the weight of his words. It was not just food he gave. It was trust. Years passed. She returned often, bringing baskets and herbs. A friendship grew between them, strong as roots beneath the earth, in a town that never forgot the night one man chose kindness over anger.